Welcome you all, my dear students. From tomorrow, today we will start module 2. Module 2 is the combination of two headings are there in the module 2. The first one is compound stresses. Compound stresses. This also called as complex stresses. Complex stresses. Okay, and the second chapter in the module 2 is thin and thick cylinders. Thin and thick cylinders. Okay, cylinders. First we will concentrate on what is complex or compound stresses. After completing this chapter we will go to thin and thick cylinders. They are somewhat independent chapters. A little dependency will be there with the thin and thick cylinder chapter and a compound stress chapter. First we will understand what is compound stress chapter. Before understanding compound stress chapter, we will just look at what is mean by simple stress. This is your first module, simple stress and strain. Simple stress and strain means there will be a body. That body is subjected to some force, and because of this force the body will start resist, and that resistance offered by the body to that force is called as stress. Then why the word simple it is used is, if only one type of stress is observed in the body, then that is called as simple stress. Only one type of stress is observed here, not any combination of other stresses. Okay, therefore this is a simple stress. And the strain means what? Whatever that elongation, whatever the deformation which occurs because of the one type of stress, that is a simple stress, then that is called as simple strain. This we studied in the first module. When you come to here, compound stress. Compound stress. Here two type of stress will act on a body. Two type of stresses will act on a body, and they are, the first one is normal stress. Normal stress. Normal stress, you also know that this is also called as direct stress. This is direct stress. Means if a body is there, if any force or any stress is perpendicular to the surface, that is called as normal stress or direct stress. If this is a normal or direct stress, and this is also normal or direct stress. This is one thing. And the second thing is shear stress. Shear stress. Shear stress means if any body is there and tangentially the force is applying, this is parallel to the surface. Here it may apply, here it may apply, here it may apply, or here it may apply. Okay, this is called a shear stress. Okay, therefore the combination of normal stress and shear stress, the combination of normal stress and shear stress is called as compound stress. Very easy, right? Compound stress. Compound stress means what? The normal stress and shear stress both together they are acting on the body, therefore that is called as compound stress. It is also known as complex stress. Most probably we don't use this word complex stresses. Compound stress is a very good one. Right up? Now where we will observe this combination of normal stress and shear stress? Very important. Let us consider one beam. This is the beam. Not chota beam, just a beam. Okay, and this is subjected to some transverse loads. Either it might be point load or UDL, whatever it is. When such loads are acting on the beam will bend. The beam will bend. Okay, the beam is bent. Look at it, it's bent. Then this upper part, see the upper part is this much. The length of this one is a very lengthy, and that is reduced. Its length is reduced, but the lower part length is this much, and the lower part length is increased. Right? Increased means the lower part is pulled and the upper part is compressed. The upper part is compressed. Therefore, this compression and this pulling, they are normal stresses. Normal stresses. How normal stresses? Because if you take a cross section here, then this compression force is perpendicular to that section. This tensile stress is perpendicular to that section. Therefore, they are normal stresses. Normal stress, either it is compression or it is tension. Tension. This shape of the bend is called as sag. This shape is called as what? Sagging. That is called as sagging. If the shape is like this, that is called as hogging. That is called as hogging. If the beam is bent like a sagging, then the upper part will be in compression stress and the lower part will be in the tension stress. And this compression and tension both are normal stress. Both are normal stress. And also this beam will be induced another type of stress, that is a shear stress. How it is induced here? Let us consider another beam. The same, it might be acted with some point load and UDL. Now it will bend like this. See, here in the bend shape, I assumed that the planes are plane only, they are vertical only. Here also this was a vertical, here also it is a vertical, here also it is a vertical, here also it is a vertical. But these two planes are like this, and when the force is applied, then those planes become like this. One is at this position and the second one is at this position. Means there is a rubbing action between the two planes. This goes like this goes like this. Then there will be a rubbing action between the two planes. That rubbing action is called as shear. I don't know whether when I apply some forces to the beam, whether it bends like this or like this, I don't know. But I assume that if it bends like this, then there will be tension and compression stresses. They are normal stresses. If the beam bends like this, then it will be shear stress. Means, to study it perfectly, I can say that it may be subjected to this and this. Therefore, the combination of normal stress and shear stress study is very essential when a beam is subjected to point load and a UDL or some other load, any other load. When the beam is subjected to some loads, transverse loads, then the combination of these two studies is very important. And the next very important, look at here. This is the first concept. Second concept where this concept will be useful is, say for example, I have one shaft. This is one circular shaft, and the circular shaft will be having its own weight. Therefore, its weight will be indicated as a UDL. And circular shaft may be subjected to some point loads. Therefore, this is some point loads is also acting. Then here some torque is also applied. See, transfer force is there, then UDL, that vertical forces are there, and torsion is also there. Means when transfer forces are there, torque is also there. When transfer forces are there, then there will be a possibility of acting bending moment. I will explain later bending moment. What is this bending moment? From the bending moment you will get a normal stresses. Normal stresses will be in two types, you know already, compression or tension. In this case, this will bend like this. Means it is a hogging nature. Means bottom will be compression and the top will be tension. Top will be in tension. See, this tension and compression both are what? Normal stresses. Now, I may analyze that this is shifted like this, then there will be shear also induced. Therefore, shear is also there. Then again, the torsion is applied, means some torque is applied. When the torque is applied, then again some rubbing action between the surfaces will take place. That is also called as a torsional shear stress. Torsional shear stress. Okay, na? Means in when a torque is when the shaft is subjected to a load, there will be three type of stresses. One is normal stress, the second one is shear stress due to transverse loads, transverse loads, and the third one is shear stress, shear stress due to due to torsional torque, due to a torque. These three will be there, but of course there are two only, normal and shear, shear and normal, only two are there. Therefore the combination of normal and shear, again it is a compound stress. Compound stress, you got a two reasons. One is in the beams we will see shear and normal combination, in the torque in the shafts we will see the shear and normal combination, and the very important is in the soils also. Let us consider this is a ground level and you are going to build one house here, and the soil below will be subjected to some compressive load, some compressive load, but the soil which is just near to the this element will be, there will be rubbing action to this element, there will be rubbing action to this element. Therefore this element is subjected to normal and shear. Therefore again we will see compound stress chapter. Okay, like that there are many circumstances there you can see normal stress and shear stress combinations. That is why this chapter is very useful. Okay, now this is all about introduction, and in the next video we will see how exactly this is studied, what are the theories which support us to study this normal stress and shear stress. Okay, thank you very much. Have a good day.